Hey guys, JSimLady here. Welcome back. Today we are going to be building a disability-friendly home in Paralives. Let's get into it. So this was both a fun and not fun one to build. Fun because I really got to play around with the idea of being disability inclusive, primarily being physical disability inclusive. I don't know how and what other ways they plan on including disability. I personally am physically disabled. I have a walker, a four-wheeled walker, which is, I never pronounce this right, but it's like a rollator or something like that. I don't know. It's just a four-wheeled walker. I'm actually getting my new wheelchair the day that I am recording this voiceover and uploading this video. Probably. They have to charge it up and check it out and make sure everything's working. But if it's all charged up by this afternoon, right around the time this video goes live, and it's working properly, they're gonna bring it to my house if they can. Otherwise, I might have to wait a couple more days, which is totally fine because, you do what you gotta do, and they need to make sure it's working properly. My wheelchair is so fun, though. I might show it off on Instagram. I think it's gonna be a really fun color of purple. It's not my most favorite color of purple. I like more blue, gray kind of purples, and most things don't come in those kind of purple colors. They come in the more plummy red toned purples, which is fine because I can spruce it up and decorate it and stuff to include other types of purples. And when you mix different shades of purple together like that, it just looks really cool. I have this gorgeous blanket that my mother made for me, and it does that very thing. It mixes different types and shades of purple into it. Maybe I'll show that on Instagram as well. It's so cute. I love it so much. And I think I can do the same thing to my new wheelchair. And it's coming at a perfect time because I fell and got a knee injury, and my knees are not happy with me right now. But, anyways, that's beside the point. So, the cool thing, though, about this wheelchair is that it, the battery, I don't know exactly where the actual like physical battery itself resides, if it's literally the wheels or if it's like some kind of compartment in the wheels, but it's my wheels basically that are essentially the power part of my wheelchair. I'm getting a power wheelchair, and rather than having a giant motor underneath of me that powers these little wheels, or having a detachable wheel on the back that kind of pushes the wheelchair automatically for me, my wheels themselves are the force. They are the power. And it's just so cool. I'll tell you more about it on Instagram, I think. But yeah, when I get it, I'll post some pictures and stuff. It's a beautiful looking wheelchair, if I do say so myself. And I think the color is going to be super fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing around with that. My daughter has the type of wheelchair where you attach an extra wheel and motor onto the back, and it just kind of pushes you along, and you're like, you either start or you stop. And you can guide the wheelchair because it doesn't go super fast, obviously, but it's either going or it's not going because that motor and wheel in the back is either going or it's not going. Mine won't be like that. I will be able to have it turned on and not have it moving, and then be able to go in whatever direction I want using a joystick. But it's not those typical larger motorized wheelchairs that you see on TV. It's more of a manual wheelchair that has power in its wheels. I'm not explaining this well. You'll have to check out my Instagram to see more, or maybe I'll post a little vlog about it over on more JSimLady. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it right here on this channel. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll figure something out. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. Definitely check that out. Anyways, the Paralives is, let me put this warning out there like everybody else is doing 500 times. Paralives is in early access, so it's gonna have issues. It needs some tuning. It needs some bugs worked out. It's got things going on, right? One of the things going on is that the rooms don't actually function as rooms all the time, and you'll see in just a minute here why that's a problem. I went to all this work to make this cool little kitchen, and keeping in mind it has to be disability friendly, physical disability friendly, because that's the whole point of this specific build, is to see, excuse me, just how disability friendly you can be. And I get it all set up and I get it good, only to realize that number one, the stove, the range, the stove and oven thingy there is taller than the countertops, which is odd. There aren't any wheelchair accessible countertops right now. There are no countertop stoves. So those are definitely things that they will need to think about adding in the future. But I mean, even just as a non-disabled person, wouldn't that be weird having your stove that much higher than the countertop? I have never, ever in all my life seen that anywhere. Not ever. Why is that like that? That is so weird and annoying to me. And I spent a good amount of time trying to figure out if it was something I was doing wrong. I eventually went and looked it up, and no, that's just the way the countertops and stoves are in this game. The stoves are all taller than all the countertops. So that's really weird. But that's not a glitch. That's just something that I think they need to revisit their scaling of items and potentially change that. Make the stoves maybe a little bit shorter to match the countertops. I think that would be the easiest solution for them. But yeah, it's like they had two different people working on the items. They had one person working on countertops and another person working on the stoves and the ovens and stuff, and they're right there. So I left the game. I came back, and when I came back, that happened. The rooms were no longer rooms. I had to go through and rebuild those rooms, and it still didn't work right. I have no idea what's going on here. I have no idea why it's all messed up. The only thing I know is when you stretch a room out, it does not automatically connect to the walls that you're stretching it to. It just overlaps the walls. So you basically have two walls in the same spot at the same time. So you have like, it's like accidentally placing an object when you have move objects on in The Sims 4, accidentally placing the same objects twice in the same space. It's like that, but with walls. And so it doesn't create a room. And so that messed it all up, like really bad. Also, my mouse doesn't appear to be compatible with this game. I know I have problems with my mouse sometimes, and that's not even entirely the mouse's fault. A lot of it is my hand and just not being able to not press down on the right mouse button. My hand gets tired very quickly and very easily, and I don't have a lot of sensation in my fingers anymore. So the combination of that means that I'm constantly pressing the right mouse button when I'm not meaning to. That's not a computer issue or a game issue, that's a me and my disability issue. But I play a lot of other games. In fact, my daughter and I just bought Subnautica 2, and that also is in very early access. And I don't have nearly the same problems in that game, or The Sims, or Dreamlight Valley, or any of the Sims games, not just The Sims 4, but all the Sims games, and Subnautica, Planet Crafter. Like, I'm not having these problems where the screen just glitches over like halfway across the lot just by resting my finger on the right mouse button or whatever. So while some of it is me, I really do think some of the glitching is just the game itself, which shows that it has a very long way to go. Honestly, though, and I've said this before in my previous videos, if you really think you're gonna love this game and you can deal with the glitches for now, and assuming they will get all of these glitches fixed, now would be your absolute best time to buy the game because it's the cheapest it will ever be, barring any kind of sales in the future. But I highly doubt you're gonna get this game this cheap, even on sale in the future. They're gonna have to make their money somehow. And if you're not willing to deal with all these little glitches and annoying experiences that I've had trying to build in this game, which is the predominant part of the game at the moment. I have not played a lot of live mode yet myself. I plan on doing more episodes. I'm getting to it. Life's been a little hectic and crazy lately, but I'm getting to it. I'm definitely gonna do more live mode episodes, but I've mostly been playing around in build mode. And that is, by all accounts from other players, the predominant part of the game right now. There's just not a lot going on in live mode right now. And so I don't think that it is worth it at the moment. I mean, the aggressive snapping to grid things, and not just to the grid of the game, but like it'll pick a random object or wall and it will want you to center to that object or wall. Even those windows you just saw, I have to go through and readjust them again later on in the video because the windows themselves are snapping to other walls, like not even the wall that they are attached to, but other walls in the house. And it's an aggressive kind of snapping. There is no nuance or subtlety to it. It's like an aggressive, if you place this window anywhere on this wall, it's gonna snap to this randomly picked point on the wall that it's randomly trying to line up with some other random object somewhere else in the house. You know what I mean? And you always have to be pushing Alt in order to move objects without snapping to whatever that is, because it's not the grid of the game. When you see those blue cross lines coming up on the screen, that's not the grid of the game. that is it trying to center objects to other objects, if that makes sense. And if you need more information about that, I can do a video about that as well. But with those kind of issues, I just don't see how it's worth it to buy it right now if you are not absolutely obsessed with life sim games and can deal with that kind of glitching and malfunctioning and whatnot. And it's unfortunate because to wait to see if it gets to a better point where the building is easier and better and not so glitchy, you have to wait until the game is also more expensive. Also, the lighting could use some work. The lights are all very spotlight-like, and that's just not normal. It's not natural. It's aesthetic, but it's not how light works in real life spaces. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit weird, and I personally believe the lighting needs a lot of work. But yeah, I did my best to build a disability friendly home using the lots available in the town. And I'll talk more about this when we do the walkthrough. It's just a basic house, to be honest with you. It's just a basic one-story house. Really, in reality, most one-story houses are fairly accessible to a wide variety of disability types. That's not always true, obviously, but speaking in generalizations, that is fairly often true. Where you're gonna run into problems the most, especially for physical disability, is wherever stairs are involved. And that includes stairs that separate parts of the town. That includes stairs that separate community buildings from regular spaces, and that includes stairs within a home. That's where you're going to get your least amount of accessibility. And a one-story house is fairly easy to make accessible in basically any game. But I just wanted to show it off again, specifically in Paralives, because I made a house in The Sims 4 disability friendly, well, as disability friendly as The Sims 4 allows for as well. I'm not trying to down Paralives and be like Sims 4 is the greater game. It isn't. They both have their issues, just in different spaces and places and ways. You know what I mean? So, I don't think either game is better than the other. Other than that, one of the things that they made sure to apparently talk about and be inclusive about is disability. And I'm just, not only am I not seeing it in the game itself with all the stairs downtown and stuff, but I'm also not seeing it in the controls. The controls have been hard for someone like me with my specific type of disability to use. And while my disability is extremely unique and rare, and it creates issues that most other people won't have, I think that a lot of my hand issues are experienced to some extent by other disabled people as well. Maybe not all of them combined, but like one or another issue. And I would think that the controls would also be hard for them. If I had to, and this is like, just kind of take this as a generalization and nothing specific. But if I had to like put a number on severity of issues with hand control and mouse control and all that kind of stuff, mine falls in the moderate to moderately severe range. There's definitely moderate to severe, then there's just severe, and then there's profound. That's something that a lot of people who don't deal with disability don't realize. A lot of non-disabled people think that the scale goes from mild to moderate to severe, and severe means that you're the worst that could ever possibly be, and there's nothing worse out there with whatever your issue is, but that's not true. The scale actually ends at profound rather than severe, and it's like a 4-tiered scale. And my disease is decidedly within the severe level, but some of my functions are in the moderate to severe level, if that makes sense. So yeah, just something to keep in mind when you're socializing with disabled people or making games for disabled people, or have a friend or a family member who is disabled. The scale doesn't end at severe. And you can have a severe disability that affects your ability to do these things, and yet you can still kind of do them with a lot more frustration, but you can still do them. And if you want to know which level it would be where you couldn't play this game at all anymore, probably the highest level of profound, if that makes sense. Hopefully some of that made sense. I'm not super great at explaining these sorts of things. I live with disability every day. I've been disabled my entire life, and so it's just normal for me. It's just natural for me, and I don't put a lot of thought into it. So when I have to stop and actually think about it to explain something to other people, it's really hard for me because I don't have the right words, because I don't know any other life. This is my life. This is the only life I've ever had. And so to me, this is normal, if that makes sense. Anyways, I have been rambling on about myself, but you saw some of the issues that I had, and now you get to see some of the fun things that this game offers, which is being able to clutter up stuff in a really cute way. I love that I was able to relatively easily put all of this stuff in this teen bedroom like this. Oh, this is probably my most favorite room in the whole house because of that. Because I was just able to clutter stuff up. Now, mind you, I've not played test this yet. So I don't know if the parents can actually use that bed or not. But it looks cute. And that's the important thing, right? Especially since apparently there's not a lot going on in live mode. But yeah, I think I had the most fun just looking around for stuff for this room. We definitely need more stuff. That's for sure. We need more stuff. There's not enough stuff for a teen room, and I need to get working on art for all these different games, because games are now allowing you to use so much custom art. There's another one of the glitches. I fixed that room, and yet the siding doesn't work on the front of that room. It's weird. I don't know what to do about that. But anyways, we need more stuff. There's a lot of choices, but it's a lot of choices in things that you're not going to use in everyday builds. And there's not a lot of teen or kid related stuff. There's quite a bit of baby toddler stuff and quite a bit of adult stuff, but not a lot of teen, child, preteen stuff. So we could definitely use more of that. I'm surprised that they focus so heavily on including things like tampon and pad boxes and Halloween decorations and Christmas decorations when they don't even have a lot of stuff for teens and children and preteens yet, and there's not a lot of outdoor stuff either for anyone of any age. So that was quite an interesting choice as well. Not necessarily a critique because it's their game and they can choose to focus on what they want when they want to focus on it. And who knows what their plan is. Just an interesting observation. That's all it is. But yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed that some of these lots are a bit weird. It's like some of them were purposely made the way they were to be like, haha, we're doing things The Sims 4 refuses or EA refuses to do with The Sims 4. And then they have lots like this, which would anger the Sims community to no end if it was in a Sims world. I guess I just find the Twitter community around The Sims 4 to be a bit hypocritical and stuff sometimes, but that's just on Twitter, and I expect that from Twitter. The rest of us are all normal, I know. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Let's get into the walkthrough and then my final thoughts on disability building and inclusion in Paralives. So this was the only even remotely disability friendly lot in this town, and even this one is not super disability friendly as the terrain does not even match the sidewalk. It is well below it, and you have no control over this painted part here because the lot doesn't even go all the way to the sidewalk. So that's kind of fun and annoying, but ignoring that little part there, I was able to create a somewhat contemporary little house here that is super disability friendly. We've got a kitchen and dining space, lots of open walkway area here for the wheelchair to get around. We've got a cozy living room here with plenty of seating space for everyone, plus a space for the wheelchair here. The only thing that I don't like about this stuff here is that the counters are, for some reason, a lot shorter than the ranges, the stove and ovens. I don't know why that is a thing. I've never seen that in real life. It was quite annoying, but yeah. So anyways, moving on, we have, oh, yeah, I don't know why that keeps happening. I think it's my mouse. We have the entryway here, nice big door. I made sure that the wheelchair would fit in that doorway. We have a teenager's room here. The teenager is not disabled, so this is a home for a disabled parent. And yes, parents with disabilities do exist, which is why I left a lot of space here for maneuvering around and being able to dress and undress and just get the wheelchair around in here nicely and easily with little frustration. And then, of course, we have a nursery here for an infant or toddler. Very adorable, if I do say so myself. Although the art leaves a lot to be desired, and I definitely need to get on creating art for these games. More and more games are allowing custom art now, and so yeah, I really need to get on that. We have the accessible bathroom with grab bars for the toilet and the shower and tub. I did not turn this one vertically. Personally, I think they need to include a vertical grab bar rather than forcing people to try to figure out and play around with, I don't even like where even is it? Like you have to just know. I toggle advanced widget. Okay, so is that what allows us to... No, no, that doesn't even allow us to make it vertical. I know there's something somewhere, some kind of something or other that allows you to literally change the like direction of an object, but I have no idea where it's at. And most casual players are not going to know where it's at or care about that kind of stuff. So they need to include a vertical grab bar as well. And on one final note before I go, I realized while picking out this lot that this lot is about the same. There is a little lip there. There is also potentially this lot here for in-town lots, for disability-friendly lots. If we wanted to go outside of town, these lots here are a little bit more wheelchair accessible. You do have some areas here where the terrain does not meet the road, but there is some accessibility there. However, there's a lot of stairs in this town to get from the lower levels to the upper levels. And yes, you have a road that comes around over here, but I don't know, that doesn't feel fair to people with wheelchairs to have to go all the way around and up, which tells me that maybe they're not thinking as much about disability inclusion as I would actually like them to be thinking about it. Because if they were actually thinking about it, then they would turn one set of these stairs here and one set of these stairs here over on this side into ramps, wheelchair ramps, and put something potentially here. Clearly, they need a little bit more guidance on how to be disability friendly and inclusive, because making a disabled para go all the way around this way to get up while their friends just cut through right here on the stairs is kind of not nice. It's not super inclusive. It's actually kind of exclusionary. Yeah, even over here, it's just stairs. I'm trying to find any other ways up, and it's just going way to the edge of town and around on the roadways the long way. And that's it. The centermost areas near the majority of the homes is all stairs, and that is so disappointing to me. And there are only a few in-town lots where you can even build a disability-friendly home, and even at that, you still have where the train doesn't meet the sidewalk. So I did my best. And I do think they have taken it a step further than EA and The Sims, but they also still have a long, long way to go to be disability inclusive in Paralives. That is just my thoughts and feelings on it. Let me know down in the comments what you think and how you liked my little disability friendly home here. And I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.